Hello, welcome to the See Blissfully Lit podcast. I'm your host, Sammy, and per usual, authentically raw here in my bedroom, ready to explore some self-reflection, shifting changes, magical experiences, stories of serendipity, and really just life at its rawest. That's what this podcast is all about, is being authentically raw and not trying to polish things up. So, as much as the conversations you'll see in interviews, they might ebb and flow. Some maybe, I don't know, more structured looking. Some might be very, very flowy. And I want you to listen to the end, connect with us, and really experience that being. As you listen to mine, experience my being, and really explore what that is. Explore the truth in that being expressing themselves fully, deeply, and completely. There's something really magical about feeling free to be you. And I want to share that with the world. So I think the more beings who really enrich their life with that wholeness, the more happy they can be, the more fulfilling life can be. And we can really find our purposes in this world and ultimately make this world a better place. That's always been my goal, is to make the world a better place than it was when I came in. So, with that beautiful intro being said, no singing, no humming today. I have some classical music in the background. Hopefully, it's not bothering you too much, but you know what? It doesn't really matter. So in preparation, I grabbed one of my old journals. I have my three most recent old journals, and I'm currently in another one. Um, this dates back to January of 2024, and I randomly opened it to the page of the day I quit my corporate job in clinical research. My first day without work in corporate was January 22nd of 2024. And I was exploring what I have created now. It's quite intriguing to look back and reflect. Uh, but I was just coming up with my plan, creating a website, social media, YouTube, all the things. It's quite beautiful to reflect on. And it looks like there was some deep meditation around this as well. It's really intriguing to look back and see where we've come from and all that we've accomplished. It's easy to forget when we're trying to be so much more and reach that next goal. And sometimes it's just nice to reflect and see what you accomplished in the last, I don't know, couple of years. Uh, this journal entry, I mentioned that I paid my car off, And I was really excited about that. And there's different milestones that we reach. And a lot of the time we get so just caught up in that hustle, that bustle, and we're just like, okay, checked off my list, it's done. Sweet, what's next? And we forget to celebrate those little or huge accomplishments. So I want you to reflect now, maybe on the last year, the last 2 years, and really think about something that you accomplished that really felt huge for you. It doesn't matter how it felt for anybody else or how you think anybody else interprets it. But what is a huge moment that just really set you off and set you apart from this old conditioning that you were in? Really explore those feelings and why you felt so free. I felt very free because there was this identity attached to the job that I had. I had this, I got the job while I was married, and I was a newlywed when I started working at American Health Network, and I was looking for a job that was, somewhat fulfilling close by, but also flexible so I could have babies and have a family. And I had a lot of my identity caught up in that. Um, my work login had my married last name on it. And although I was really great at that job, I wasn't happy there anymore. I wasn't getting what I needed. And I kept asking for it. I kept trying, I kept helping others and, trying to cultivate the experience that I was seeking. But sometimes we outgrow the spaces we're in. And that was something I had to realize for myself, that I had outgrown that space. It was no longer for me. Alexa, power off. So, in this silence, in this quietness, really reflect on an experience maybe that this has sparked for you, or maybe you're realizing that you're in a space like that. And just write it down. Reflect on it later. I'm telling you, I have been through a huge wellness journey these last few years, and I'll share more of the integrative experiences and the different modalities that I've utilized to help in my self-care journey. Um, but the most fruitful opportunity has been taking a step back and reassessing what's important in my life. A book that's helped me with this, it was actually recommended by one of my teachers, Shandon. It is Your Money or Your Life. And I read that book, I believe, December of 2023 through January 2024. I might have still been reading it in February, but I was making so many adaptations to my life and realizing what really wasn't that important to me. And there are lots of books like this. There are so many ways that you can reassess your life. There's so much reflection that you can do. And there's also so much time in every single day that we can use for something else. So I encourage you to reflect on what you're spending time on. How does that make you feel? Do you like what you spend your time on? Do you want to change it? It's all up to you. You don't have to spend time on that. You know, certain things are important, yes. We have to have stability in our lives. But it is also important to find that fulfillment. You can find fulfillment and have stability. It is fully possible. Enough being serious. Okay. So I've had two great interviews posted online. One with a great friend, Brooke. Brooke is exploring life, and she also quit corporate work not too long ago. Uh, I met her in yoga teacher training, and she's an incredible person. Every time we talk, just incredible ideas flow and grow. Same with my friend Crystal. She's also the other interview that has been posted already. And she is gearing up to change a lot of lives. I can tell you that much. I've been doing work with her for, gosh, since June of 2024. And the work that she does has helped me in my journey. It's been additional to other modalities, but I've noticed a huge difference from what she does. And you have to be willing. You have to be willing to and ready to face yourself and face what's inside if you want to do this kind of work. If you are afraid of that, that's okay. Uh, any of us are willing to work with you on that. If you want to change but you're afraid, come to us. Any of us. Um, I do I do work, I do coaching, I do pranic healing. Um, everyone's approach is different. And if you're ready for a change and you want some help, some guidance, seek it out. It's seeking you. We all want to just help. And I think ultimately we're all here to help each other. We're also here to help ourselves, and helping yourself is first. So sometimes we need a little help helping ourselves at first. A little a little support, a little love. And that's okay. That's completely okay. This recording went in a completely different direction than I even thought it might. Honestly, I didn't plan it. Uh, I was thinking I would share a little bit about my most recent trip to LA, as I'm planning on moving out there. A big reason why I started this podcast, some people had recommended that I should share my journeys of self-discovery, spirituality, changing life experiences. I mean, there's so much to it, right? Sorry, this coffee is just so yummy. Um, so I went out to LA in October of 2024, last year. And a friend, John, had invited me out there. He showed me all these amazing museums, and it was a lot of fun. And I went right back a couple months later for an event out at Mount Shasta, and I explored another part of California, which was really beautiful. But my heart is just so set on moving to the LA area. And when I got out there, it was just this energetic pull, and I couldn't really understand it. Um, but I'd never felt more myself. I'd never felt more myself than when I was out there. And as I kept working on healing, I was doing pranic healing for myself and doing a lot of reflection, a lot of self-exploration, and I just realized what's been hiding underneath, and it's fucking incredible. It's so beautiful. It is so beautiful and soft and strong and immaculate. And well, that set me off to start planning. I went back out a little over a week ago with a potential opportunity, and I was really excited about it. And that opportunity didn't exactly work out. But the beauty in it is, I learned a lot from the opportunity. I met some amazing people, and more opportunities have shown up since then. So, something I want to share with you is no matter what you think is going to be the perfect, right, this is it opportunity, or I have to do this in this exact way, it doesn't have to be that way. There's a certain amount of structure and there's a certain amount of flow in life. And sometimes things go upstream. So I I stayed in West Hollywood this last time. It was pretty neat. For anyone who hasn't been there, I think you should go there just to see what it's like because it's completely different. I live in Indiana and I've never seen anything really like that. Uh, I also stayed in Playa del Rey for a few nights and I went out to visit Santa Monica. They have an incredible pranic healing clinic. I highly recommend going to it. Um, gosh, I was at this beautiful church and the healers are so wonderful and sweet. Uh, yeah, it was quite the experience. Quite the experience. Uh, I went to see a rolfer, and for those who aren't too familiar, rolfing is a type of body work, to put it lightly. And he worked on my fascia and my overall structure and how I hold my body, how I stand in my body. And he's incredible. I actually plan on having him as a guest at some point. His name's Craig. Um, honestly, those sessions with him really, really, they changed me a lot. I am so much more in my being than I was before, and I'm sure that's really hard to understand. But how can I put it to words that might help? Hmm. So, you know how I described feeling myself more than I ever felt myself when I came out to LA? It's embodying that feeling, feeling it in the entire physical body too, and releasing any subconscious aspects that were created to be something for somebody else. That's how it feels. So, have another sip of coffee. During all of this transitional time, I have been doing some body work based on psychology. So I've been doing trauma releasing exercises and working with bioenergetics. So there's some work by Alexander Lowen in bioenergetics. And there's something called Oregon energy. So I've been doing these pretty amazing exercises that are super simple. And the shit works. It's really neat to couple it with my spiritual practice as an arhatic practitioner. For those of you who don't know what that is, I practice arhatic yoga. It's the synthesis of yoga, and we have different pillars that we follow. Basically doing a daily practice of meditation, inner reflection. A lot of it mostly embodies just like being a good person and taking care of yourself and doing right by others. So this work has helped me to not use meditation as an escape route, but to enjoy being in my body while also enjoying meditation. Um, what I found was I meditated very easily because my body had been through a lot of trauma and it had been through a lot of experiences that were out of its control, and it stored a lot of fear in it. And we don't really realize that. We just keep living. And before we know it, we like have all these weird bodily issues and pains and whatnot. And where the heck did it come from? As I've started doing all this work, not only am I more centered in myself with choices, thinking, uh, acting, like taking action, but my body feels better. Some pains that I gotten used to, they're not there anymore. They're gone and they don't come back. I've coupled this with pranic healing, with therapy, with neural reprogramming. There's a lot that I've used. And I'm a firm believer that everyone has a different blend, a different blend that works best for them. But I think the key elements personally. This is just me. I don't know everything, but this is my personal opinion. I think the key elements are finding a way of purifying yourself. I purify through meditation, through inner reflection, through my spiritual practice. Um, but there's also this other side of it of doing the physical work and working on the body. And doing the mental work, the reflection. I believe I mentioned that already, but doing the reflection and like actually working with someone who can understand you and help you through certain mental blocks that maybe you can't figure out by yourself. So we're working on the spiritual level, the mental level, and the physical level. And if you look at any of Grandmaster Choa books, I'm sure that there's other books that mention it. Perhaps Alice Bailey or DK. Um, we have these subtle bodies. We are not just this physical being. We have an aura. We have the physical. Yes. But we also have an emotional body around us. We also have a spiritual body around us. And we have to treat all of those aspects to find equilibrium and to really embody who we are. And we're not just nothing. We're not we're not just blankness. We're not just the light. We're not just the soul. There's a certain reason that we are in these bodies for this life. And it's fucking beautiful. We get to experience emotions. We get to have relationships. We have the opportunity to create. To create. Do you really want to go through life just living like a robot, doing what other people think you should do? That's not why you have this incredible vessel. You have this incredible vessel unique to you to embody your experience, to change the freaking world. So there's my share. There's my share. Golly gee. Um, Before I sign out, because I'm sure that this has been long enough and fluffy and fun for all of you, I'm going to open another journal to a random page. Oh, look, it's October 2nd, 2024. Lo and behold, there was an eclipse today. Ha. It's so funny how astral events can mark such big changes in our lives. And it looks like there was a lot of inner reflection and releasing old that I didn't need during this eclipse season. And a fabulous idea for a not-for-profit. Wow. Wow. Record your experiences. Record what you've been through, where you're going. Share it with others. Share it with yourself. Reflect on it. I make it a point to read back the last 6 months of my journal every 6 months. Every year I read that whole last year of journals, no matter how many journals it is. And I set goals for that next year based on what I've been through. You'll be amazed at how many changes you go through each week, each month, each year. And you'll be amazed at the lives that you can touch as you dig deeper into yourself and uncover your immaculate, beautiful, authentic being. I, before I close, I'd like to appreciate a few podcasts that have inspired me over the years. First off, I think like 2015, I used to listen to Positive Head podcast a lot. And more recently, just after, I think it was June of 2022, I found TBM expanded to be magnetic, manifestation podcast, super inspiring. And I also started listening to Know Thyself probably about 9 months later or so. And I really enjoy that one too. But one thing I love about them is they really encourage you to be you. And that's really important. I also love my fellow pranic healers who have awesome pranic healing podcasts. Um, Miss Ellen Morano and uh, Dr. Jason. So check theirs out. They're also very great. And I mean, everyone's incredible. Every podcast is super awesome. We're all just making the world a better place. And frankly, I don't know what this will develop into. And I mean, it might just end up being part of my growth path and I just get to share it with you, which is so fun. It, you know, no expectations. I know I'm destined for greatness. I know that my present, my future, my past, I'm always destined for greatness and I will always find it. It will always find me. And in between, I get to meet really magical beings and have fun, synchronistic experiences. My recommendation for you in leaving it today, signing out, is to just go have a little bit of fun today, whatever that looks like for you. So we'll start to close. I want you to find a space where you can sit down and close your eyes. Begin deep breathing. Relax the muscles of the body. With each inhale, recognize the areas that are tight. With each exhale, sigh those areas out. Allow them to soften. Notice the body calming down, the activation shutting down. Bring your eyes up, keeping the lids closed, up behind the forehead, between the eyebrows. Just bring that gaze up. You may notice a light. You can focus on the light if you'd like. Continuing with your breath, don't hold the breath. Notice if the body's tensing up. With each exhale, soften. Maintaining that gaze. Hold that space. In that space, we are together. In that space, we're at peace. In that space, there is bliss and endless love. Gently bring your gaze forward again. Slowly open your eyelids and smile. Be soft with your body. Wiggle your toes, wiggle your arms. Let your breath regulate. Thank you for joining another episode of See Blissfully Lit podcast. I'm your host, Sammy. Have a beautiful, synchronistic, incredible day or night.